Dear colleagues, I'm glad to welcome you to our session. And today we'll discuss one of the most effective approaches in English teaching is the communicative approach. So it is my favorite approach, and I can say that it really works, especially when students know how to implement and how to use it within the lesson. So let's start from the very beginning. When a human comes to this world, they don't have any speaking, communication, or comprehension or writing skills. So they start from the very beginning. But as the time goes by, the newborn baby recognizes the words, recognizes the speech, starts communicating and producing the language itself. Thus, the question arises, can we, teachers, implement this miracle, this human's ability in the English classroom? My idea is definitely yes. Additionally, as teachers, we can diversify the tasks with some digital tools, collaborative activities, project-based learning, etc. So children learn language by being in a language environment. In the English class, we create this atmosphere to help students understand the language, that the language is not just on the paper, but can be used in real life. So here you can see the main ideas like tasks related to communicative approach. So I'm pretty sure that you use most of them in your own lessons. It is something that is not new and is not innovative, and it is something that we all use. So my favorite, it is like the idea that I usually and almost always use at the beginning of the lesson is icebreakers. So using icebreakers is something that helps create engaging and motivational atmosphere in the lesson. So it is something that is very easy, like here. Yeah, we can practice some emotions, feelings, adjectives, and talk about our mood. But if we deepen in this picture, we can practice more. Yeah, we can practice some grammatical structures, depending on the level, some pictures, seasons, everything. What is the snowman doing? And what is the season? What's the weather? And it can provide this friendly and speaking atmosphere during the lesson. And talking about the main principles of the communicative approach, I can say that the first thing and the main thing that should be reached, this final product, this final result, is the communication itself. So we can say that meaning is much more prior over a form, and learners use language not only on the worksheets by doing some tasks when you have to fill the gaps or make questions or maybe do some writing tasks, but practicing language in real life. So interaction is between students in pairs, in groups. It is a really great thing. And I think it is a powerful possibility. It's a great possibility to create this product, this communicative result. So one of the ideas of communicative approach is the idea of 3 Ps, standing for presentation, practice, and production. So the first stage represents the introduction to a lesson and necessarily requires the creation of a realistic situation or realistic feeling situation. This demands the target language to be learned and can be achieved through using pictures, dialogues, imagination, or actual classroom situations. The teacher checks to see that students understand the nature of the situation, then builds the concept, underline the target language to be learned using small chunks of language that the students already know, And having understood the concept, students are then given the language model and practice using choral drills to learn the target language's forms or statement, answer, and question. So this is a very teacher-oriented stage where error correction is important. When we proceed to the next stage, practice, I must admit, I must mention that practice usually begins with what is termed mechanical practice. So it is open or closed pair work. Students gradually move into a more communicative practice involving procedures like information gap activities, dialogue creation, and controlled role plays. Practice is seen as the frequency device to create familiarity and confidence with the new language. And the teacher still directs and corrects at this stage, but the classroom is beginning to become more student-centered. And the final stage, production, like the culmination of the language learning processes, whereby the students have started to become independent users of the language rather than just students of the language. The teacher's role is here not to lead, but to facilitate a realistic situation or activity where the student instinctively feels the need to actively apply the language they have been practicing. The teacher does not correct or become involved unless students directly appeal to them to do so. So the 3Ps approach is relatively straightforward and structured enough to be easily understood by students. It is a good place to start in terms of applying good communicative language teaching in the classroom. So this idea of 3Ps is really great, but there are some drawbacks when students are afraid to present their language ideas, their ideas, and to interact within the classroom. So when talking about types of learning associated with communicative approach, I should mention some ideas like interactive learning. When students work in a group, in pairs, so interact with each other, they mingle within the during the lesson, and they can be given some ideas like to find who, for example, or do the survey and come to some results. One more thing that is also great here, student-centered learning. So as we have mentioned before, so here the learning process to the students themselves. And this kind of approach strives to allow for personal creativity and input from the students, as well as taking into account their learning needs and objectives. So this kind of approach also has some similarities with the idea of New Ukrainian School. One more thing is cooperative learning. So it is something that you can implement in all levels and also all grades of school. Of course, primary school students are more motivated to work in groups, but if the task is interesting, we can implement in all the levels. So one more thing that should be mentioned is content-based learning. So in this idea, we can use some clear lessons or integrate some ideas from other subjects to work with this material within the lesson. So it's not like learning English and when we hear the bell, we just leave our English in the classroom. So we can do some math tasks, talk about some historical events or something that they usually discuss in different other lessons in the particular English lesson. And one more thing, task-based learning that I should mention is one of the techniques that that can have an idea of solving activity or project. And here the activity has a clear objective, appropriate content, and working procedure. And also it sets range of outcomes. So here we can see some different ideas and approaches to create the communicative atmosphere and to encourage students communicate more. So one more thing that I would like to mention, that communicative approach doesn't always work. Sometimes we have some kinds of topics when we need more speaking, more listening practice, more writing practice, but still maybe the quarter of the lesson at least should be devoted to communication. So at least it can be more, but not less. So my dear colleagues, I want to move to a bit of practice here, and we're going to play, maybe not like play, to discuss the information that I gave you. So I would like you to have a look at at the ideas and define the approach. Define the idea here. So maybe Ruslana, you would like to read the idea and to choose the option. Or maybe somebody can help us.
For example, use of real-life materials.
It can be, by the way, we can say that some ideas can be splitted here. So it says that no, it is more like, but again, real life materials, it is maybe something that you can have as a project final, but maybe expressions and language and gestures, it is kind of real life. It is definitely something that we use in our real life. So I agree with you. So it's a bit doubtful here. Okay. What about next one? What do you think? Something that can learn to the real life situation. So if it is something like real, probably it could be something connected to real life, right? Okay. So if it is about boosting the interest in communication.
Maybe interactive activities.
Okay. And maybe one more. A kind of not authentic communication, but interactive communication. Good. Let's have a look at one more. We have a kind of example here that we use for creating and producing the result.
Interactive activities, maybe.
Okay, it looks like interactive activities are... You're very close, actually. So it is more connected to task-based learning, but interactive activities, I also agree, it can be sometimes implemented. Because it is language. Language is alive. And we sometimes can diversify. Okay, and one more thing. What do you think at the last one? When we talk about culture, different peculiarities.
For cultural.
Thank you very much. Well, Alexandrina is my the most active student today. It's the end of the day. I understand everyone is tired, and thank you very much for your answers here. So now I would like to share my own experience. It's not something new, but maybe it will inspire you to create your own communication-based tasks. So these are some ideas from this and previous year when I worked at another place. So maybe it will be like a bit more diverse than I work now. Like I don't have many classes at the moment. So here I would like you to have a look at some ideas that you can use during the lesson. Yeah, so speaking cards is a must. It is something that you can discuss during the lesson. Traveling, shopping, holidays, my favorite food, it is endless list. One more thing is that is also great to discuss is agree or disagree statements. Working with idioms. Idioms, it is a really great thing because when students know that you don't always translate them literally, it will make more sense. So with the help of AI, I use Gemini for creating some pictures, tasks, multiple choice tasks, and my students really like to work with the idioms, even if they are not related to the book, to the topic. One more thing, when we write associations to the words. Yeah, sometimes we can come to very interesting phrases, and it also creates a friendly and engaging atmosphere during the lesson. Rolling a story, something that also my students really like. You throw the dice and you get the topics like a person, the character, the place, and the situation. And you have to create a story. Of course, if you have a lot of students in the classroom, it cannot be very you will not have enough time to work with this topic, but you can choose like this or that lesson. During the lesson, a special amount of students who will do this task. One more thing, storytelling. It creates imagination, it creates some speaking implementation of English in real life when you have to think what can be. Also, some kinds of ideas when you have to answer what if, what happens if, or what happened if. It is for maybe higher level students when they already know first and second conditionals. One more thing, when we talk about tic-tac-toe, it is like a kind of game when you have to answer the questions, to put your sign, and finally, eventually, we have the winner. Also, such topics as daily skincare, or maybe some kinds that probably only girls like, but it is something that they can see every day when they go to the shop. They buy some cosmetics and they can see such kind of vocabulary in real life. So it cannot be done in every lesson, and it takes some time to prepare such kind of information, but it really works. One more thing to describe the picture. It can be implemented to any kind, to say what color, what piece of clothing, what are they doing, or maybe to proceed to higher levels, like to think, yeah, like what are pros and cons of using the internet. Yeah, so this kind of activity can be done with different levels. My favorite is also emoji game, when you have to create a story by using this set of cards, set of emojis. Really great thing. As I have already mentioned, we can also work with some kinds of idioms that I usually take from the British Council site. They post every week a set of pictures with material related to a particular topic. So it is something that my students also like. And when we talk about beginners, elementary levels, visual content is very important. So even if they don't remember how to read this word, they remember how to pronounce it. So visual content is also very important, especially when they like what they see. But it takes a lot of time, I must admit, for every teacher to create some kind of interesting and colorful material it takes a lot of time. And one more thing I would like to share with you, it is something that I can say about my students. When they take English out of the lesson, so they implement English not only in the lesson, but out of it. So we made some videos. We took part in different contests, and we just made videos for fun. And one more thing I would like to share is creating an AI video. So we made the text in a group, and I help them to create a video concerning related to the text that we have made together. So I would like you to watch with me and to see and to think about the result of our work. So here we are making the video about investigators.
It was on the teacher's desk. It's my birthday.
Really? Happy birthday!
Lucky you. Then it's your birthday.
So we can come to the conclusion that using communicative approach is something that should be done in every lesson, and depending on the students' engagement and on the students engaged, we can produce different results. But if the students know how to produce this communication, if the students, the teacher doesn't correct every step, but helps, supports, and facilitates, it can be a really great idea. So that is my idea that I shared with you, and hopefully it inspired you to use maybe some of the ideas in your own lessons. So thank you for watching, for joining me today, and for your participation.
Thank you very much.